Now we're joined by Peter and Al. Lovely to have you both. You're both from Ream. It's lovely to meet you both. Thanks for doing the interview today. If we can take you back to the beginning, how did you get together? And at the time, what was the vision?
I wouldn't say it was a vision. I was sort of getting feeling my way around the sort of early house music scene. And a friend of mine brought me down to a place called the Brain Club in Wardour Street, and I was expressing to her that I was frustrated that I couldn't make what I was working on sound like the records Alan was playing out in his set. And so she introduced me to him. And we're standing at the bar, and like I'm 5'8" and Alan's 6'4", so it was very little and large. So that's the only
Six two, 6'2".
The only vision I had was of that, you know. Looking at it's one of those sketches where I look up to him and he looked down on me, and I suppose he took pity on me, didn't you, Al?
Yes, and we still do.
You still do.
When you do a new song, what comes first, the feeling, the lyrics, the groove, or is it something else? Or is it just every time you write, it's a different kind of thing?
Different every time, isn't it? Pete always did the bulk of the songwriting back in the day. So, and I've got more into it as we've gone on. But yeah, I think I'm the same as Pete as well. I think it's always, you could have a lyric, you could have some music, you just have ideas. I think there's no set. I don't think any of the, not putting us in any in the same sphere as any of these great songwriters, but I don't think any of them have ever really had set plans, have they? I mean, people would know more than me on that.
It became more, I suppose it comes more naturally to some than others, but I was having this discussion the other day with someone who's never written a song in his life, and I've always thought that people can do it if they put their minds to it. And I remember kids when I was growing up, and we were doing art at school, and I was pretty, practiced at art, and they said, "Oh, you're really good at art," and I can't do it. And I always thought, well, have you tried? And they thought they'd already just dismissed it because they saw someone else doing it better. And that's kind of like how I felt when I saw Prince perform for the first time. I should really, by all rights, have just stopped right there. Just go home. But you can't compare yourself to these. But I also heard that it's exactly the same thing that happened to Eric Clapton when they went to see Jimi Hendrix. They thought, damn, we've got to either stop doing what we're doing or hang up our guitars. But really, I think the thing about everyone can have a crack at it. And if you're not using the AI and stuff like that, because that's nonsense, that's cheating. Actually writing a song from, you have an idea, you've seen maybe a word or something that makes sense to you, and you can write around that. So I think having the title is probably the best thing to have if you're beginning in writing, and then work around the meaning of the song from that. But from our point of view, we can just sit down and just be having a laugh, and then he'll say something and I'll go, that's a song, and the next thing we know, we're 2 days into a finished record. So we're at that sort of stage, but that comes from practice.
Yeah, you just mentioned about AI, and obviously it started to be everywhere. Sometimes it's very difficult to tell sometimes what is AI and what isn't. So what are your personal thoughts, both of you?
I think I knew that a lot of the content on Spotify, for example, was bogus anyway. I can't imagine what the percentage is now, but we're about to see it. We're about to have the heart ripped out of our last bloodline of money, which is royalties. So that's just going to get ripped apart by this, because if you can sit down and sort of say, hi, my name's Annie, write a song for me and my mate Jean, and we're down at the beach, and it does that, then people like us, we live, eat and breathe this, and it's now been taken away from us. I don't know what to say, because you sound like the guy who was the farmer complaining about the invention of the plow, but that's what's happening. It's technology causing a disruptive technology causing a massive revolution again.
However, you have on many occasions said you'd rather just use AI to get you someone on stage instead of you having to turn up there. So,
well, that's because I have to be up there with you.
There is that.
There is that, yeah.
Do you ever feel that a song has been gifted to you from the universe because it comes through so quickly, it's almost like you didn't write it?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, we got a new one on the album called Geeky Rules of the World, and I've no idea, but we were all sort of doom scrolling during coronavirus, and I was looking at all these people like Zuckerberg and Musk and all the rest of it, and thinking about how they're kind of, they seem to be the ones in control, not our elected so-called politicians, and So I just thought it just popped into my head, it's based on the idea of the Christian idea of the meek shall inherit the earth. So it's a play on that, the geek who rules the world. And then Alan came up with the idea that it's the geek who fools the world will rule the world. So that was really good fun putting that together.
I mean, I'm always just amazed that we can manage to write any song, to be honest. Because as I've said, for me, I'm so late into actual writing songs seriously, as opposed to being a child just writing sort of rubbish. It's for me, I'm just amazed that I'm actually, as Pete said, anyone can do it. But I'm amazed that I always find it when I look at something and God, that's quite good. I'm always continually amazed, which is a good thing to be at my age.
Most musicians, even with massive success, never write an anthem. What was it like to write that song, Things Can Only Get Better, and has it taken on a life of its own?
It's certainly taken on a life of its own. It's kind of this cultural Swiss Army knife. It's been used for everything from women's cancer choirs to, clap for carers, and then, of course, the inevitable Rishi Sunak getting drowned in the rain. But no, you don't. We weren't looking for anthems. What I was watching Alan at the end of the night in Love Ranch, and this was a nightclub where we kind of peaked at our, when we had our finger on the pulse. And I was always sort of standing by the DJ booth, properly geeking out, high as a kite, and just watching for when people would just go extra mental. And what was it that's doing, making people have this kind of sort of spiritual moment where they're sticking their hands in there? And I thought, if we can get that minute in their heads just as they're leaving that night, at the end of the night tune, then we'd have something. And that's why Best Thing and Things have got something I suppose, anthemic about them. And it worked a treat. We ended up getting a lot of word of mouth on that. And this is before the internet. So Alan would have cut some records, didn't we, Alan? You handed them to some of your mates.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
And it went on like a word of mouth thing, like a proper old school viral thing. So that's where that came from. We didn't set out to write an anthem per se. I wasn't thinking of that. I was just thinking of something that just made people so happy. How I was feeling happy watching them getting really celebratory and high. And I just wanted to encapsulate that in our sound and in our songs.
Luca, who is your number one fan from Australia, she's travelling all the way over, firstly to the UK in May to come and see you. What does that mean to you? And also her question is, in the 90s, did you get much say in what your videos look like? And do you have any funny or interesting stories? So that's a two-part question there from Luca. Just to throw that at you.
It's great. It's great to be in touch with people on such a level. We can have a conversation and a laugh, and it's transparent. She's making her way over, and I love that. So we're going to look after her when she gets here, and there's plenty of gigs to come to. But the other thing is, So, like, for example, in Things Can Only Get Better, I wanted to take Hieronymus Bosch's Garden of Earthly Delights, the really fun one, not the horrible panels, the really kind of psychedelic one. And I wanted that to come to light. And they told me, yeah, no problem. We're going to do this in CGI, do that. The next thing I'm seeing 3 girls being transmitted back to a heavenly choir. I was going, what the is this? Right? And it was just so not what it was. It was almost as good as Spinal Tap when he sort of drew out the Stonehenge, and it was like the wrong size. I was going, you can't. And we have the worst videos, Alan. We have the worst.
Pete, that video, he charged us for the bond. But some of the what we were saying was he charged us a bloody fortune for it as well. And it looks. I prefer. We did when we started out. We did a couple of videos, didn't we? Did For You the Best Thing, and no, really cheap.
Oh, great.
I always thought it looked brilliant. And the minute we got Wiz involved, who was like he did Best Thing. He'd done this thing this weekend, the Flood Up video, which was seminal, brilliant. So we thought, they said, do you want to get Wiz? Could you get Wiz? Yeah, we'll get Wiz. Charged. Well, I mean, he wasn't quite as much as that Things one, but he did that video with the heart, and it just didn't look right. We spent about $5,000 on that one in the warehouse, and it summed up what we wanted. I think, you give back in the day when all that money was there, you gave these guys a load of money and they just wanted to show off and just say, we've got these ideas, they wouldn't listen to, you just say, you say something, they just go, yeah, all right, yeah, they just do their own thing.
My first girlfriend was a hairdresser, and she told me in confidence that when everyone came in and they looked at the magazine and they pointed out the hairstyle they went, yeah. She only knew 2 haircuts. But it's like, this is what you get, right? So how do you sort of say, well, it's like that falling down moment, but this isn't the burger I ordered.
Yeah, it was.
Good film. If you could go back in time to your younger selves, just as you were starting out as musicians, what advice would you give yourselves?
Oh
Alan,
God, where to start? Where to start?
don't go anywhere near Pete Cullen.
That'd be the first thing.
On pain of death.
When a short bald man comes up to you in a nightclub, and says, "Do you want to work together?" Say, "No, no."
No. And three times no.
I think there's lots of things. Don't drink as much. Don't take naughties, and avoid the women as much as possible. Don't listen to anyone in a record company, especially video directors. Don't listen to anyone. I think that's probably my advice.
Yeah, and make sure you sign it as well.
Yes, very important.
I would go with what Alan's saying, but certainly the fork in the road for me was the drugs, and I wish I just hadn't gone down that road. But there you go. Hey, hindsight's a wonderful thing.
Do It Anyways, the new album, which is out now, came out in 2025. You're touring this because you've got a big tour coming up next couple of months. Tell us about what people can expect from this album.
Well, these songs really work live. We've got a selection on there. We're not doing the whole album, and we've got 5 albums to choose from now. So we have to try and cover a fair few. But obviously, we're not going to disappoint people when they come to see us. We're going to do the big records, and we're doing a few covers as well, sort of embedded in there, which is nice. And particularly one by Joe Smooth called "The Promised Land," which is one of the songs that inspired us from the late '80s that both Alan and I love, and it works really well for us live. So. Lots of jumping around, lots of punch in the air, lots of singing.
Yeah, good vibes, basically. We try to put on a show. That's one thing we always try and do, don't we? I think Pete's still got a voice, which is handy.
That's
Thankfully,
handy.
he can sing still. I'm going to give him his due here. The boy can sing still, which is
even though
handy.
You're trying to put me behind a curtain. Even though you're trying to get me to sing
as much as possible.
Okay,
yes.
That's fine.
Now we've got a good band as well. The band is good. We've got good. As much as I do take the mickey out of TJ, our backing singer. She's very good at what she does.
TJ's been with me for 30 years, and she's still going strong. And we sound great. I mean, when she goes for it, she's got a proper pair of lungs on her. That girl, and she just hits those notes, and you get the hairs going up in the back of your neck. It's just great. It just really works.
On stage, do you still get the buzz? I mean, you obviously sound like you do, but you still enjoy it as much as you did from the very beginning, doing a gig and connecting with an audience, getting them to sing back your own songs.
Yeah, it's at one point I was really ready to throw the towel in, and a friend of mine just says, what sat me down and said, "What's wrong with you? Someone's paying you to go and be a star and stand in front of people and entertain them, and then you get to hang out with your mates. What is wrong with you?" I was like, yeah, absolutely right. And we have a great time anyway when we're all together. There's a real camaraderie in the band. And I think that really works because as we go onto the stage, it's not like Oasis. What are the boys, where they're kind of kill each other. And that whatever that is that goes out. We're into a good vibe together, and that comes onto the stage, and then I get a real buzz off it still. I must say, I get a real adrenaline.
I think the whole band does.
The whole band.
The whole band gets a buzz. We lovely. We enjoy it. It's thankfully we enjoy it because I don't intend to do it. At the same age as Mick Jagger's doing it, but
I don't know.
But 94.
But the more he does it, he's pushing up the bar for us. Al, are you trying to tell me?
Can you imagine being 17, getting on stage?
Even if I have to be pushed there on my Zimmer frame, I will still.
We did.
If there's anyone left.
Mud.
If there's anyone left to sing to,